So design is a plan for producing an object. Object in the sense our mechanical or machine element. Okay, the machine is an assembly of various elements. So those elements are called as machine elements. So here in this subject, you are going to design those machine elements. I have given you an examples for the machine elements, the last class, like shafts, gears, pulleys, cams, belt drives. So all these are the examples for machine elements. Okay. In this subject, you are going to design those elements. For example, if you take a shaft. So here simply the design can be defined as a plan of action for the production of a element, a machine element. So it is nothing but a plan of action for production. So what do you mean by plan? So you are required to produce an object of this kind, for example. So I have given you an order. So you are an industry people and I have given you an order to produce 1,000 dusters for me. So what is your first task? Yes, so you have to determine the shape, the size and quantity has been already given. Okay, so you have to determine the shape and size of the object and afterwards, so what you have to do is you have to determine the shape, size and then is it over? So for example, you have decided that this rectangular solid shape is perfect for this one because the teacher has to hold this firmly. So this shape is perfect other than cylindrical, right? Shape is okay. Size in the sense you have to determine the dimensions of this one. Say length, thickness and breadth. Size is also okay. And what's next? Measurements is nothing but size. To decide the material to be used for producing this duster, whether you have to use a metal or a wooden piece or any other thing or a plastic piece. So there are so many options of materials. So you have to choose the proper material for this one. And then, okay, material is decided. So you have to make the duster with wood. Okay, so this gripping portion is made with wood and this rubbing portion is with wool, for example. Right, and then what's next? Then, so once the material is decided, then you have to look for the manufacturing process. What is that? Manufacturing process. So, in which manufacturing method you are going to produce this? So, what are the different manufacturing methods? Tell me. Foundry. Casting. Foundry is nothing but casting. So, casting is one of the manufacturing method. And then? Machining. Okay. So, like casting, machining. And some of the components can be made by using powder metallurgy. Okay. So, you have to decide appropriate method of production or the manufacturing process. So, while selecting all these things, you have to consider so many factors that we are going to discuss shortly. Okay. So, you have to choose the manufacturing process. Okay, all these things have to be considered while making a plan for the production of an element or machine element. So this is nothing but the design or machine design. Is it okay? Simply design is not determining the diameters or the dimensions. It includes shape, size, materials, manufacturing process and so many other things. We will discuss later. So that is the plan of action of production. So that is design. Now write the definition for the design. So during this design, you are formulating a plan for the production of a machine element, and during this process you are going to apply your knowledge of science or engineering. So in the previous semester you have learnt about the strength of material. So here you are going to apply your knowledge of strength of materials here to design this component. Okay, and also you are going to consider various factors which affects the design. So there are so many factors which affects the design that we shall discuss in the coming sections. Okay, so you are first of all you are formulating a plan. Formulating the plan. How are you formulating this plan? By using your knowledge, by the application of science and technology or your engineering knowledge. And also you are going to consider various factors. Various factors affects the design. So all the three steps includes the design. Okay, now so during this process of design you are going to determine the geometrical arrangement of the elements. What is that? Geometrical arrangement of elements. So what is the geometrical arrangement? See, for example, you are designing a machine. So we know that the machine is consisting of so many elements. So to which element? The element has to be connected. So what are the two elements to be connected for achieving the desired motion? So for example, if you take an IC engine, see, so this is an IC engine. So this is the cylinder, this is one element, and inside there is one piston, this is another element, and this is the connecting rod, another element, and this is the crank, this is another element. So how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 elements, for example. So geometrical arrangement means, so how these components are to be connected. So here the piston has to be connected to the connecting rod, not to the crank, and this connecting rod has to be connected to the crank, and this entire setup must be placed inside the hole of the cylinder. So this is the geometrical arrangement. So this has to be determined for achieving the desired motion. So here our desired motion means the rotary motion. So from the engine you are going to get the mechanical energy in the form of rotary motion. So in order to achieve this rotary motion, what should be the mechanical arrangement of the components? So that must be determined first. So that is geometrical arrangement of elements, and also during this process you have to consider what are the forces involved. What are the forces involved? That means what are the forces that are acting on the element during its operation. For example, if you take this piston, so on this piston you will have the pressure energy by the gas. The gas will apply some force on the piston. So that piston must withstand that force. It should not fail. It should not fail. It has to withstand the force applied by the gas. So that's why in order to make the piston to withstand the force, you have to study what are the possible forces that may act on the elements. So that also has to be considered. So here you are determining the geometrical arrangement of elements by considering the forces involved. Okay, so this is design.